Hi, I am Karen of Karen Clark Creations, an artsy introvert, and yesterday I got together with friends to extrovert. It was great. I had such a great time. I went to spend time with Lindsay Wyrick and Angela Clark, and Shanna Rowe Jackson was there by video chat. Angela had never Gelli Plate printed before, and Shanna had only done it once, so we decided to all get together and give it a try, get messy, try things, and it was such a great time. Video chat worked wonderfully. If you can't get together with friends in person, do it by video chat. It totally works. It feels like they're there. And, you know, as an introvert, might feel even better because you're in your own home. I don't know. Give it a try if you can. So the goal for me was to try using some stamps that I made. My mother-in-law gave me a kit years ago, a block printing kit that has everything you need to get started with this creative medium. I'm going to call it making stamps. I think it's called lino print, block printing. I don't know. There's different words. I'm going to call it stamps. So a couple weeks ago, I decided I wanted to do something creative, but I didn't want to get all my paints and take them downstairs. I wanted to do something to loaf on the sofa in front of the TV. So I cut out these. I really enjoy doing this. It's very soothing to me to cut away the pieces and leave the raised part. I really enjoy it. So I wasn't sure how well they would work on the Gelli Plate though. So let's look at that. First off, I did some book pages. My thought with these is I'm going to do collage someday. Probably in the summer because I'm too busy at my full-time job right now. So I just wanted a bunch of book pages. I didn't get creative with many. So there's this one where you can see it's this stamp. I think that turned out pretty cool. This, I used Felt Fusion. It's a piece of felt. It's self-adhesive on the back, but I didn't stick it to anything. I just laid it down and squished it in. This is what it looks like. This was something that Lindsay had, but she was going to get rid of. And I thought, hey, let's try it on the Gelli Plate before you get rid of it. And it turned out really neat. I think this one looks kind of like a fabric, a tapestry, or a little old lady's dress, or a vest. Ooh, like, yes, a vest from the 80s or 90s. That's what that reminds me of. I think it's really neat. I think it would be fun to paint something on it, but I don't know what. I am going to keep it aside, though, for that. I think I'm going to try that. Just a messy page. Very simple. A little more interesting. I just kind of, you know, I wanted colors, but I didn't really care what was on these. This is actually cleaning off my brayer, and that worked great. This, I cleaned off my brayer and then stamped my stamp on top, and it kind of turned out neat. Cleaning off my brayer. Picking up from a stencil, cleaning off my brayer. Actually, this is Angela's brayer. Thanks, Angela, you contributed. But then I tried on some, this is cardstock. I'm not really sure it was Lindsay's cardstock. I'm not really sure what kind it is, but it's just feels like regular old artsy cardstock. This was the first time I used this stamp. The paint on the plate was a little bit wet, so it didn't pick up the entire impression, but I think it's great. I'm not mad about it. There are lines here because I had used medical exam paper on the plate first and it left behind an imprint, and I love that look. I think that's really cool. So I liked the going back and forth between medical exam paper, which is this, and cardstock to get this interesting texture on there. Here was using this leaf, or feathers or leaves. I'm not sure what they are, honestly. It could be either. That, and then in the background you can see that stamp. I just did layers upon layers. This one has this background in the back and then a stencil over top. Actually, the stencil went down first and then I stamped. So that's how the stamp is behind this. Here was this one, just slightly, you can see it, and then I put a stencil down. And, you know, this was a multi-layer process because some of this red was left over from another print. I love when that happens. You know, I don't always love when that happens. Sometimes I want a beautifully clean print, but other times I think it's really cool to get all that texture and grunge in there. There's that one again. I really like the organicness of the leaves just coming from every angle, like you're underneath the plant and looking up. I really think that's fun. Again, there's that geometric spiral, rectangle spiral underneath of a stencil. And just the spiral. That's copy paper, I think. It was just an extra piece I just grabbed and used it. This one didn't come up great. Actually, this one was linked to the other one I was talking about. This one. So all the red from here is here. Now these I really liked. I tried this one first. What I did was I put down a layer of blue. Yeah, a layer of blue. Put it down, and I used a tool to scrape squiggly lines in it. And then I laid down a stencil, and I put a piece of paper, and I took away all of the paint that you could get between the openings of the stencil. Pulled the stencil up, let it dry, added another layer of color, which would be that teal green. Did the same thing, put the stencil down, picked up all the extra paint, peeled up the stencil, and then I put a layer of iridescent on there. And this is what came up. I was a little bummed because I have pieces right here that are missing that, actually they're over here. But I liked the technique so much, I did it again. And that's where you see the pieces that didn't pick up were over here. And I just think it's so pretty. And I loved it so much that I did it again. And again. So these two, I love these two. I love the bright colors. I like that I used a lighter color for the squigglies and then a darker color. I did it that method for both of these. And actually you can see I used this one and then I did this one next because you can see the pickup that didn't come up from over here. So they're all just kind of related. I think I'm going to set these aside in a bin that's called sketchbook covers, because I think that even though these are two different colors, it's the same process and that would look great on a sketchbook. So, and you know, my favorite color is orange and red. I mean, orange and green. So I think that's what I'm going to do with those. And I'm going to sort through all of my old prints too and do the same thing. I'm going to pull the ones out that look like they could be a sketchbook cover, and I'm going to set them aside. And all of the other ones I am going to put in I'm going to separate by color and then intention them for collage. You know, I might actually do another one where I set them aside for using as backgrounds to paint something on. So I just thought of that. This one turned out gorgeous. I love the colors. It's very simple for me. I usually like doing multiple things, but for this I just used, you know, I did multiple colors. I did 3 colors, and then actually I did 2 colors and blended them together. And then 1 stencil, and that was enough. I usually want to do multiple stencils, but that was just so pretty on its own. I really like that stencil. That was Lindsay's. I only took with me these things, and everything else was at Lindsay's stash. She is such a great friend. She's like, no, use all my stuff. Come over and use it. This, I love that stencil as well, geometric-y. So I used it a couple times. This was with gold, and this one's with silver. And really, those look like sketchbook covers to me, for sure. This one's pretty cool. I did the stencil I put down first, and then I used a stamp. It's really hard to see, but it's there. Use a stamp to lift up. It's really fun. There's that stencil again. And that stencil again. Again, Lindsay's. Here were some, there were little, you can see there's symbols and numbers and letters. Actually here, you can see them better here. They were little trays, they're about that big, and plastic. And they look like maybe like candy molds. I don't know if they were candy molds. They might have been used for something else, for like clay making or something like that. But I just used them to stamp in. So they were like this big, so I would just lay them down and then pick them up. And then I did a stencil over top, that same stencil that I used, that I loved, that same stencil, and picked up the excess. And I love how muted this is. It's very shiny because there's iridescent on it. But I like how it's not bright colored. It's just very neutral. I need to do more of those if I'm going to use these for collage. So then I tried medical exam paper. I bought a couple rolls of it. It was a pack of a couple rolls, and I cut a bunch up, and I took that with me. So I lied. I took these and medical exam paper because I wanted everybody to try it. And it's really, really neat. I really had fun with it. And according to Jackie Bernardi, another artist that does collage and jelly printing and everything, she uses medical exam paper all the time. And I thought, well, if she loves it, I want to see if I love it. So I went out and bought some. It wasn't expensive. And it's really cool. It's apparently supposed to, when you use it in collage, it's supposed to be transparent. So I'm excited to try that. This was, again, those trays where it's the letters and numbers and symbols, and it filled up the space great. And again, I didn't do anything else to it. I just did it with that, and I loved it so much. I did it again. Then I used some of my stamps. So I took one plate with me, one 8x10. So again, I took stamps, jelly plate, and medical exam paper, and an apron. That's what I took. Sorry. I feel like I needed to be honest with y'all, what I took to Lindsay's house. Anyway, I took an 8x10, and because there was going to be 3 of us around a table, and I wanted to rein it in. I wanted to be in my own space and not taking up too much, but it was so painful only having one plate and waiting for it to dry. So I was like, do you have another plate I could use? Of course she did. So I got this little 5x7, and it was perfect for filling the time, waiting for the 8x10s to dry, and playing with these. It was perfect. If you're going to get into jelly plate printing, I recommend having 2 plates. Don't have to be the same size, but have 2. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting around and waiting for them to dry, and that is not fun for impatient people like me. So here I used this guy. I really like the color combinations and the subtlety of that one. And I used this one. Stencil. This one, I used this, and then I stamped a flower over top of it. This was the felt. It's very, very subtle. Very cool. And then this was a stamp, but I didn't like it. Those are just playing with color. These, I just wanted to put color down, but I didn't want it to be just plain color, so I used a stamp. Just nice and easy. Same. I had no intentions for these. I just wanted to see if it would, what I could come up with. This is this felt. I just laid it down, pushed it. Worked great. Again, that felt piece. And just some plain colors. And then these were pickups. I would use these to pick up paint off of stencils. So that was it. That was our day. Our day in paper. It was so much fun. Had a blast. Oh, and on this one, I don't know if you can see, there's text right here, because I used one of these pages on the plate at some point, and the text kind of stuck, and I think that's so cool. Look, I can see the word demand and question. I think I'm gonna go to the library and buy from their like $1 bin and get some old books and tear them up for that purpose, because that was really fun to just have a little page, but also not really care when I was like doing the clean offs. You know, I'm gonna need some solid colors when I do collage, so that worked great. So this was so fun. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you do this with your friends, if you get together and have play dates. I have a Gelli Plate Playdate video scheduled, and I'm going to push it back a little bit because I'm going to put this in its place, but then I think later in the day, I'm going to put the Gelli Plate print Playdate video out so you can see my process if you're curious. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm so happy you're here, and have a great day. Bye-bye.